Now, I know a lot of people tend to measure their content by different metrics of engagement. We're focusing on likes, comments, shares. We're looking at how many followers we're getting from those pieces of content as well. But I'm going to let you know right now, if you continue to watch this video, we're going to need to throw engagement out the window. Okay? I'm Mo. I'm a social media coach and founder of Soft Girl Socials. Now I know all y'all are looking at this screen right now and you're looking at me crazy because I just told you to throw out engagement. In the words of the great Nene Leakes, I said what I said. In today's society with social media, we tend to attach our worth with our content. If it's performing really well, we think we knocked it out of the park. We think that, people really enjoy our content or enjoying our brand. And then if it flops, then we feel the complete opposite. We feel like we failed. We feel like we didn't do enough. And that's why in this video, I want to give you tips on how you can detach your worth from engagement. My first tip: engagement does not equal value. Now, this may be a little controversial because obviously, yes, engagement tells us what's performing well versus what isn't, whether or not our audience likes the content or not. But this tip is to mainly point out when the content isn't doing well or you think it isn't doing well. Because just because it isn't performing well in your eyes doesn't mean it still doesn't hold value. I can't tell you how many times I've posted content, whether at my job, for my clients, for myself, even for Soft Girl Socials, and how many people have told me, oh my gosh, I love your video. It just helped me so much and I was able to utilize it and yada, yada, yada. And I'll just be like, oh my gosh, great. And these same people I know didn't like or do nothing with the post. That's just the kind of world that we live in today. We are in a high viewership stage where people are viewing content, but they're not necessarily engaging with it. So don't feel encouraged because you don't feel like it's not doing as well as you thought it did. A lot of times it still reached the people that you wanted to reach and it still had an impact. And also, just because it doesn't have traction now doesn't mean it won't pick up later. So, for example, I posted a video a couple years ago. It was, I live in Chicago, so it was tips on what you should do during your birthday in Chicago. And I remember it started out around 2,000 views, not a whole lot of likes. And now that post has over 200,000 views and continues to rack up engagement to this day. Like, I still get notifications every day about somebody liking, commenting, whatever. So don't get caught up in immediate results because long term it could do tremendous work. And my second tip: I need you to detach from the outcome of the post. I think, again, we just get so caught up in how we think the post is going to do, especially if we're so proud of the content that we created. Myself included, I have created so many different pieces of content and thought, oh my gosh, this is going to go viral. This is going to be this and that. And it wasn't. You have to continue to show up even when you think it's not where you're wanting it to be. I always say social media is like throwing spaghetti at a wall and seeing what sticks. And a lot of times when you're creating posts, the post that does well is the one that you least expect all the time. I've created a post for my client that I didn't even think was going to do numbers, and it ended up doing exceedingly well. These are the numbers. So I say this in a way that you need to have an objective point of view when it comes to analytics. And also with social media, the algorithm is not predictable. Who's going to engage with your post is not predictable. But what you can control is you and how you show up on those posts. And my last tip: remind yourself constantly of your why. I think when we're on social media, we are so focused on the content that we lose track of the why. It's so easy to forget why we're doing what we're doing when it comes to social media because a lot of times, as business owners, we're so focused on making a sale. We're focused on getting clientele. We're focused on just trying to expand our reach to another audience. If you feel like your content isn't doing that well, that could also be tied to that. I just want you to know that your worth is not defined by your post. I'm going to say that one more time for the people in the back. Your worth is not defined by your post. Also, don't get caught up in comparison because, as I've said before, comparison is the thief of joy. Because if you get caught up in comparing yourself to where other people are in the same industry as you, you're going to keep feeling like you're behind or you're not doing enough, and that's not the case at all. Even myself, as a social media coach, and I'm also a full-time social media manager and strategist, I have defined my job in numbers and metrics, and I kept feeling like, I'm not doing enough, or I felt like maybe this isn't performing well because of, I'm not doing what so and so is doing. And what other people are doing around you, that's their brand, that's their personality, and that's what's unique to them. You just have to find out what's unique to you and what's going to resonate and be authentic with your audience. And I also want to remind you that your content could also be inspiring people and you don't even know. I have a series on TikTok called Building My Business with God because I'm a Christian. And I just talk about my authentic experience and how I'm feeling throughout that journey. And a lot of times I have just stopped because of, maybe I'm like, okay, maybe this is too much, or I kept getting, in my head about things. And there's so many people who have told me, no, like your content really inspired me. It helped me, you know, be able to continue going or continue to come up with new ideas. One of my dear friends also told me that she rebranded her whole content page because of my series and how it inspired her. So, again, this is all about detaching yourself from the outcome because, again, you are inspiring people and you are also making your mark in a way that you don't even know is impacting so many different people. Keep doing what you're doing. Remember why you're doing what you're doing and let that fuel you as you're continuing to build your page and make your content. Those are my tips for today. And remember, social media is a process. Sometimes it takes some people longer to build their page up than others, but that doesn't take away the worth nor the value that you have to offer. Keep going, keep trying, and keep thriving. Be sure to like this post so we can get a little bit more traction for your girl. And also be sure to subscribe so you can stay tuned for the next video. That is all I have for you all this week, and I will see you all next Wednesday.